Hello everyone, my name is Anamika Singh and I welcome you all to today's session of topic Decodified. Today we are going to decodify right to abort. America is seeing a lot of protests because of this right. Let us discover in the following sequence why so. So we are going to cover this topic in the following sequence: why in news, details on the debate of abortion per se, judgment that has created the whole outburst and its impact, the scenario with regards to the same, that is abortion in India, and we shall conclude our session with the prelims and main space practice question. Let us discuss why it has been in news. So there has been a very significant curtailment of women's rights in US because of the Supreme Court overturning Roe versus Wade judgment. It was a landmark judgment that was passed in 1973, which had given women of America the right to have abortion before the fetus was actually visible in the womb, and medically it was 24 to 28 week mark. So what was the Roe versus Wade case? Let me tell you a little backstory of the same so that it's easier for you to connect and remember afterwards. So Roe was a 22-year-old lady. She was unemployed and she was expecting her third child. She did not want to keep the child, the baby, and that's why she went up to the court to ask for the right to abort. At that point in time, abortion was not legal in America. The court denied her plea, but since she had by no means taken care of the child, she went to the higher judiciary. And thereafter, the verdict came in her favor and women in America got right to legally abort. But what happened was, by the time the verdict came in, she had already given birth to her third child, and because she could not have taken care of the child, she gave the child for adoption. Okay, and abortion rights, which have been available to the women since then for 2 generations now, will now, once this judgment has been overturned, will be determined on state to state basis in America. So any particular state, if they want to allow abortions or whether they want to prohibit them, has to decide it for its own territory individually. Along this case, there was another case known as Planned Parenthood versus CSE. This particular case's judgment had upholded the Roe versus Wade case and said that, okay, we are going to follow this judgment. This is the correct one. We are going to refer it for this case as well. So the one which was giving legitimacy, approval to the Roe versus Wade case, even that case was overturned by the Supreme Court. Now, this has already been done. Let's look into the debate and the whole chaos that it is creating and why it is creating so. So, details of the debate, since there has been a lot of debate on this topic, right from the time since the judgment came in, I have divided the debate into 2 parts for you. The first we are going to look into is right versus ethics, and thereafter pro-life versus pro-choice dilemma. So in rights versus ethics, from the ethical standpoint, it would be wrong to kill a fetus, but the right siders would say that it's women's right decide what she want to do with her body, whether or not she want to be pregnant, whether or not she want to keep the fetus, right? On the same lines, an American philosopher, Judith Jarvis Thomson, has advocated for the supremacy of women's right in the rights versus ethics debate. She says that women has this right, has this freedom over her own self, over her own body, and no one can force her to bear a child in her womb and give birth to the child if she doesn't want to do it, right? And the reasons for not doing it could be various for her, but that is not the point. If she doesn't want to do it, she should not be forced to do so. Further, she emphasizes that for those people who actually support abortion, for them it's not about killing a human being. So there is no ethical debate whatsoever. For them, the fetus is not a living being until at least 10 weeks of pregnancy. Okay, so this is the right versus ethics debate, which we have actually understood with the help of a thinker or philosopher, right? Next up is pro-life versus pro-choice dilemma. So pro-life people are going to say that one must not kill a fetus because it has life in itself, and without any reason, without any fault, no one's life should be taken away. But pro-choice dilemma, of course, is going to tell us that women's choice does matter, and whether or not she wants to keep the baby should be decided by her and only her. So according to Ethical Dilemma of Abortion by Journal of Students Research at Indiana University East, the pro-life versus pro-choice dilemma is one of the largest debated issues in the US today. Of course, this topic is on fire in the US right now and has been causing a lot of ethical tensions, protests, etc. The pro-life or anti-abortion argument means people who do not want women to abort. They are based on three principles. So these three principles are the human right principle. First of all, they would say again the same thing, that a human's life should not be taken without any fault whatsoever. Next principle is mens rea principle. In this principle, the intent of doing any act is checked. So the person, the agent, whosoever, his or her intent of doing anything is considered under this principle. And since the intent of abortion is to actually kill a fetus, so this principle does not allow for the abortion. Abortion violates the principle because the agent intentionally wants to kill another person, right? And the pregnancy has been terminated deliberately and knowingly. The last one is harm principle. Harm principle, just like the mens rea principle, it says that one should not harm anyone else in a manner that is really serious and dangerous for the person. Okay, so this was the debate. Now let us look into so the judgment is now that the whole of America is not going to have legal backing for abortion. Individual states for themselves are allowed to decide. Now, what is the impact that follows this judgment? Some women would be able to travel out of state for the procedure in whatever state. If their state is not allowing them to do abortion, they can travel to another state and follow the procedure and do the same. Others, however, can also have pills. So that is also a way. If they don't want to keep the baby, they can just consume certain pills, which of course can be illicit, maybe illegal, but it is very difficult to figure out or probe whether someone has taken such a pill or not. This is readily available home alternative to the clinical procedure. You just be at your home, consume the pill, and the fetus gets aborted. Many women disproportionately now that was the side of those who would be able to abort. What would be the impact on women who won't be able to abort? So this case would be most likely with the women who are really poor, right? Who do not have the resources to abort. So they would unwillingly have to carry the babies, and they would then rely on the social security net, social safety net of the state, right? The net, of course, is really thin, and if more and more people keep on adding to this really thin sheet, it's very difficult to actually provide them with good facilities. And in each and every state, from rich nation to poor nation, this social security factor may vary. So this was the scenario of impact. Now we are going to look into the scenario in India. In India, if you guys are not already aware, let me tell you, with respect to abortion, there is law known as Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act. As far as India is concerned, there is Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act that was passed in 1971 for the first time, which allowed abortion up till the 20th week of gestation period. However, this has now been amended in 2021, and now the ceiling of the abortion has been uplifted to 24 weeks, but this has been done for certain special categories only, such as women who have been through rape or are incest survivors, that too with the approval of any registered doctor. If they want to go for it, they can do it till 24 weeks. However, if there is another situation as well, if it is discovered that the fetus is disabled at mental or physical level and it is going to be difficult for the fetus or the mother to survive because of this, then there is no limit to the timeline of abortion. But this has to be allowed by the medical board of specialist doctors, which has to be set up by the governments of states as well as union territories. So this is the case in India. Now, with the help of the above discussed information so far, I want you all to look into this question and answer it in the comment section. The question reads, with reference to the Medical Termination of Pregnancy (MTP) Amendment Act 2021, consider the following statements. Opinion of one registered medical practitioner (RMP) for termination of pregnancy up to 20 weeks of gestation. Number 2, it allows only married women to also terminate a pregnancy. Now, with the help of the information I've shared with you so far, I want you all to look into this question and answer it in the comment section. With reference to the Medical Termination of Pregnancy (MTP) Amendment 2021, consider the following statements. Opinion of one registered medical practitioner (RMP) for termination of pregnancy up to 20 weeks of gestation. Second, it allows only married women to terminate a pregnancy. Please select the correct option and put it in the comment box. Let us look into the mains practice question as well. It says, critically examine the reproductive rights of women in India. Do answer it in 150 words. You can send us your answers on the WhatsApp number. You just have to scan your answer sheet and share it with us through WhatsApp, and we shall review it for you. So this is it for today. I shall see you again tomorrow with another topic decodified for you guys. Till then, stay tuned and take care.